Salutations. It's your boy C2B, and we're back. In the first part of this series on Soundbanking, I introduced it as the problem with modern beatboxing. But that is not exactly true. Soundbanking is, in all honesty, the end product, so to speak, of the natural progression of beatboxing, or I should say the current ceiling, so to speak, of the natural evolution of beatboxing. Since the beginning of the art form, slowly but surely, more sounds and more techniques and more ways of using things have come into the scene, and people have come up with great ideas using those sounds and those techniques. Because this is the current ceiling of beatboxing, so to speak, we have to ask ourselves what's next. And when I think about what's next, the natural progression of beatboxing and sound banking is going to be a little different in ways that I think some people have seen and some people might not have noticed quite yet. I believe the next step in this natural evolution, so to speak, is what I'm dubbing as sound investing instead of simply sound banking. What's going to be happening is people are going to come up with new sounds and sound trends are going to keep happening. What you're going to see is the higher level beatboxers are going to consistently be the people that have been very selective in their sounds, in their sound sets, and it's really going to be all about sound design. Sound design is going to be the natural next step because there's going to be too many sounds. There's too many sounds already. So we have to figure out, what are we going to do with all the tools we have at our disposal? Are we going to run around and try to learn everything? Or are we going to try to figure out what works with what we have and slowly but surely build something that has a lot of substance? Now, I personally define sound investing as building essentially a portfolio of sounds, or what you could use if you wanted to use more investing terminology. You could even say building a portfolio of assets that are well balanced, and regardless of where the market is, you'll always have something that hits. And a good example of that is when you look at the scene, we have whatever the sound meta might be at the time, whatever the stylistic meta might be at the time. You see only certain people are winning and certain people are blowing up because they do very particular things. And it's like, if you're not doing those very particular things, a lot of times you don't win the battles, your videos don't get views. Most people, when it comes to how they invest in their sounds within the beatbox scene, they invest in a way that is very, very unbalanced and is really based on the trends. So as the trends rise, their stock rises, so to speak, but when the trends change, their stock falls because they haven't built something that is well balanced. And a balanced portfolio is absolutely necessary to consistently have relevance and create fire on a regular basis within the scene. And a great example of that is someone like Vocoder. Over the years, Vocoder has taken his sound set, which is mostly based around inward bass and a few other very select sounds, and he's slowly and surely meticulously crafted his style and added a bit more sounds, but not what the trendy sounds were, but they were sounds that added to his style, the way he combos the sit effect scratch with his inward bass to create some unique combos and techniques, and the way he incorporates some of his zippers at times, and even using certain outward basses to help with the breathing while doing inward basses as well. There's a lot of patience and time that went into it, and it's not like, oh, here's a double voice or here's a vibration bass. Vocoder didn't just start running after these sounds. He figured out, this is what I like, these are the sounds that I have, and then let me slowly but surely figure out, okay, this sound works well with this sound that I have. This goes well with my style here. It's not, here's this trendy sound, let me try and push it into my style and make it a part of my style. And over the years, he's consistently delivered high quality beatbox routines and songs. It didn't matter that his primary sound was the same sound all these years, because he constantly evolved how he used it and what sounds he used around it to keep it balanced. His sound set, his music, his style, his stock, so to speak, within the beatbox market is not dependent on him writing trends, because he's crafted his own thing. Everybody else is, I don't want to say everybody else, but a lot of people in the scene, the vast majority of the scene, cannot say that about themselves because their entire style is based off of what everyone else is doing. So when nobody cares about that stuff anymore, no one cares about what they're doing. The same could certainly be said for beatboxers like Decoy, Inertia, even guys like Wally. Their mastery over a very select amount of sounds, and it has been proven to be the best strategy for consistently creating high quality music within beatboxing. It isn't finding whatever is new and shoving it into your style. It really is doing less. And you're doing more with less, if anything. With all that being said, I believe that this is where the scene is going to be going next when it comes to sound investing and being a bit more selective. I think on average, beatboxers are going to have more sounds per minute 30 than we did in the past. But I believe the selection of sounds is going to be a bit more unique. You're going to see a consistent distinction between beatboxers over time, because you're going to see the beatboxers that are newer and less experienced being the ones that are kind of sound banking, and then you're going to see those that are at the very top having a mastery over a select amount of sounds, and then they have their essentially their bounding sounds that they use to go around their main supporting sounds. And I think that this approach of being very meticulous in your selection of how you do things and what sounds you use is really the next evolution. So what happens when we have a scene that can do all these sounds? We have all these beatboxers that know how to do all these sounds, but then they take their time. But then they listen to themselves. They figure out, okay, I'm really good at this inward bass combo here, but that actually can go really well with this usage of Starsky bass to help with the breathing. You want to have circular breathing when you're doing your beatboxing so that you don't have to take as many overt breaths during your rounds and during your performances in your sets. And slowly but surely, people are really going to be figuring out what really works for them. And I think this might actually lead to a reigniting of genuine journeys for self-discovery within beatboxing, actually, because people are going to see what's possible, but they're going to actually be able to, instead of run after what's next, they're going to be much more specific and intentional with every step along that journey, because they could go anywhere. So the only thing left to do is to limit. There's so many sounds that the only thing left to do to truly reach the level that you probably could reach is to limit and focus. And I think the limiting and focusing in cultivating a balanced portfolio of sounds and genres and combos and things like that that work well together based on your style and the sounds you like to do, more so than what the scene likes to do at whatever given time, is going to really lead to another jump in the level of beatboxing in the scene. We're going to have battles where people that have complete mastery over their sound sets are going to be going head to head, and it's going to be insane. Because we are where we are in the scene right now, I do genuinely believe that this next step is going to be healthy for us. I think people are going to be a bit more free. They're not going to feel as pressured to keep up and be able to do what everybody else is doing. And I really think it's going to help get the scene's head back on their shoulders in an artistic and expressive sense, instead of strictly being in this competitive mind state, which will then translate into better competitions, because you'll have people battling each other that know who they are. And that is going to be insane. And that is what I'm excited to see. So if you enjoyed this video, you enjoyed my thoughts on this, then leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff all the YouTubers tell you to do. Let me know what you think down below. If there's anything you want me to talk about, there's going to be a lot more content on various concepts and ideas on the scene. So stay tuned. Next week, we're going to have a fire video. Might piss a couple people off, but it's your boy. I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Peace.